players now they're away. Gareth joins us now. As always, when we chat Spurs, we like to get Gareth on. Gareth, how are you, mate?
Evening, guys.
Oh, it's so nice to see it's still daylight outside. I've not seen a window for the last hour or so, and it's good to see we've still got sunshine. Listen, I mean, I fear for Spurs next season, not just because I'm a Chelsea fan and you've got AVB and that sends shivers down my spine anyway, but also purely because I think you're losing the quality of player you're losing compared to the quality of players you're replacing them with. There's too much of a gulf there. Are you optimistic or are you slightly apprehensive too?
No, there's a degree of optimism with me. I think AVB's a good signing, not to wind you up, but I think Chelsea wasn't the right fit for.
No, I'd agree with that.
And I think Tottenham, with the progressive nature of the club, the way we like to bring youngsters through, I think that'll give AVB a chance. I like Vertonghen as a signing. Obviously, you guys were saying he needs time to adapt. Certainly he does. I'm glad we've not done what we've done in previous season, which was really to sort of sign at deadline day. We've brought them in early. We're going to give them a full pre-season and see where we go from there. The quality's interesting. Modric, I suspect he's going to go, and then it's where do you go out? If you bring in a Jan Vertonghen or someone like that, then maybe you've got a chance. But yes, it's going to be interesting. But Bale signing, Kolka coming through, maybe Adebayo coming back. David Bentley talking today about how he's been given a new chance by AVB. I think the squad will just be energised, and then we've got to kick on. And the fixture list hasn't been too bad for us. It's been quite kind the first 5 or 6 games.
Is that good news, David Bentley? Feeling optimistic about the place in the team?
I feel relatively bad for David Bentley. I think that he was treated quite shabbily by Harry Redknapp, who wouldn't let him leave. I'm not sure that was just Harry Redknapp. I think Daniel Levy has this thing when he does transfers where he says, this is what the price is. And if the buying there's no negotiation. If the buying club doesn't want to pay it, then the transfer doesn't take place. And I mean, we saw that with Dimitar Berbatov, where he effectively messed up a whole season for Spurs by only getting rid of Berbatov on deadline day when he didn't have time to spend the money because he was haggling over a couple of £1 million. Whereas if he'd have sold him 6 weeks earlier for £2 million less, they could have bought replacements who would have had a pre-season, and then Spurs wouldn't have spent the first half of the following season struggling at the bottom of the league. And so David Bentley could have gone. I think Mark Hughes wanted him when he was at Manchester City, but they were haggling, they're arguing over the money, and they wouldn't let him go. And I think David Bentley has some ability, and he certainly has more ability than he was allowed to show at Spurs. Even if it's just coming on with 20 minutes to go, someone who takes good set pieces, that is a massive advantage. I mean, I don't like Ashley Young particularly, who plays for my team, but I wouldn't start with him. But he's someone who, if there's 20 minutes to go, you might get some good set pieces out of him, and that's quite an important role in the squad. So yeah, I mean, I think that is a good move by Villa Spurs to bring Bentley back.
And Gareth, I mean, with that squad, Moutinho obviously mooted to perhaps be the man to replace Modric should he go. Is that the sort of signing you would expect? It's the sort of signing I guess we'd expect from AVB. Is that the sort of signing that would excite Spurs fans?
Yeah, I think it would. I think he adds a bit more than Modric in the final third in terms of goals. But the thing is, it's who I would like to maybe come. I don't think it is who will come. And Spurs, for a number of years, has found players and really created something special. So Berbatov, a good example, Modric, Bale, all of these players who've come in with maybe reputations, but not world-class players, and have built them up. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was another sort of player that's going to make an impact, but's going to develop with Tottenham, rather than someone like Moutinho, who's perhaps at the top of the game. But look, we're talking about Bentley there. To add to Bentley, you've got the likes of Gomez, you've got the likes of Basong, you've got the likes of Jenis, you've got the likes of Pino, you've got the likes of Defoe, who were all out in the cold and the Harry. And I'm not saying those players are going to excite Tottenham fans, but you need a big squad in the Premier League and the Europa League. And they're players who are coming back and probably thinking in pre-season they've got A, point to prove, and B, a chance.
And from a Spurs fan's point of view, firstly, Adebayor, what's the latest there?
Well, the latest rumour is that we're about to sign him for a fee somewhere around £5 million and paying a sign-on fee. Now, whether that comes to fruition or not, I'm not sure. But I think Adebayor, he contributed so much last season in goals and assists. The Arsenal thing has divided some fans, but I think you've just got to take a player on face value. If he wants to come to White Hart Lane, I'd welcome him. And I think the other thing is we're being linked with a lot of foreign strikers, and strikers typically take time to settle in the Premier League. And if we've only got Defoe and 3 or 4 strikers from abroad, that would worry me. So for continuity, I'd welcome Adebayor back.
And the second question I was going to ask you, were you surprised at all, and I know this will be a hard thing for you to admit if you were, but were you surprised at Bale's contract extension and signing and extending his time and committing to the club?
No, because I think I wasn't, simply because of what you talked about a little while earlier, and Daniel Levy is a negotiator. Levy knows Bale's got time on his side, Modric perhaps hasn't. So can he get another year out of Gareth Bale? Most certainly he can. And I think what he said to Bale is sign another contract, that adds value to Tottenham, we'll give you a little bit of wage. If it doesn't work out next season, we're going to get a transfer fee. Perhaps that's a cynical view. Perhaps Gareth Bale absolutely loves the club and he can't wait to play for Tottenham Hotspur. I don't see it like that, and I don't think the modern game allows that with a footballer. But, well done to Levy. He's got him signed. Players are coming in. Sigurdsson and Vertonghen are talking about Bale signing his contract. AVP's there. It's positive news, and it's positive news at the start of pre-season rather than deadline day.
So I agree with what you say about Bale. I think he's signed a new contract as much because it means that when he goes, you'll get more money for him. And the chances are he will leave. But talking back to Modric, given the amount of players that Spurs need, would you sell Modric in order to buy maybe 3 players with the money that you could get for him?
On Modric, he wanted to go last year. We didn't let him. He didn't let his head drop. He played really well. So that's really good to see from him. Is he going to stay another season? No. And we've got to cash in on that, take the fee, and then go and buy some other players. But the problem with doing that, as soon as you've got 35, 40 million in your back pocket, every player you inquire suddenly goes up. So it's a balancing act between going out and getting the players perhaps now, and Modric being a little bit in limbo, and then pulling the trigger, selling them and buying them in. It's going to be very difficult. And again, I just hope it doesn't go down to deadline day.
No, I wouldn't have thought it will do. I mean, as you said there, the clubs usually, I mean, if they know for sure, and they'll have a very good idea if Modric's going and where he's going, and so they'll know what they're getting there, and they already know what they've got to spend, because they'd already, the feelers would have been out already for the players they're looking for, and that would be a good thing. But I mean, the thing you said about Adebayor for me is massive, and yes, your Tottenham supporters are thinking he used to play for that lot over the road, but at the end of the day, his contribution last season was phenomenal.
I think he's unreliable. Amazing. Still, I mean, he tends to start the season well, and I also see Adebayor as something of a flat track bully. Like he gets a lot of goals against the teams that end up getting relegated. But I don't think you can rely on Adebayor to play well when you really need him to.
Yeah, but what you've got somebody that, because the fact that he does score goals, he keeps this thing with all the players that they believe that when they go into games, there are goals there to be had, whether he's going to score or he's going to help other people. And that is that's a fantastic thing to have also.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, listen, Gareth, we're going to move on. It's been a pleasure to see you and to speak to you as always, mate. And I'm sure we will as the season kicks off very, very soon. We'll speak to you in a bit.
See you later, guys.
Cheers mate.
Cheers.